What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Jeremy Finlayson and his role at Port Adelaide for 2025. There's a lot of different key areas about Jeremy for this season that I think a lot of people will be raising question, and I think some will be more out of his control than in. But there's a lot to be talked about with Jeremy this year, and I'm very keen to see how he presents himself in 2025. 2024 wasn't a great year for himself. 2023 he was a shining star up forward and presented a really good outlook in our forward line. Now for 2025, following up from a pretty poor 2024 and then getting injured in the back end of the year, I think he's going to be looking to play predominantly a ruck forward role. He's been training quite a lot in that area and predominantly more in the ruck and helping out in that situation with Jordan Sweet, mainly so looking at taking probably what Charlie Dixon had as playing a chip-in ruckman who plays forward, and I think that really helps well. Be himself versus Ollie Lord in that position, I assume. Now, this is the interesting part about Jeremy's role this year, and I would love to hear your takes on Finlayson's position in your eyes, what you see him doing this year, and where he'll play. Because now with our defence being hurt with injuries, Asava is a 50-50 chance at this stage to play round one. Brandon Zerkdoucher looks to be missing the first month at the very least with his back injury, and you've obviously got Todd Marshall who's on the sidelines long term with an Achilles injury. There is a lot to be desired with a defence that is currently looking at having Aliir, Miles Bergman and Ryan Burton as well as tall defenders, which, look, they can play a job, but it's not going to be as effective as a key backman playing down there. So I think you look at Jeremy Finlayson and you go, right, you are the most versatile player in terms of positions at the club. You can play anywhere and you have the experience everywhere as well. We know he can play down back. Because of his history at the Giants. He was a backman when he first started there and presented himself really well down forward when they switched him up, and that's what he was recruited for at Port Adelaide. And whilst having one good season of being effective up forward, he's been hit and miss ever since. And I think now with an opportunity to go sort of back to your roots and play down back, we've seen Harry Himmelberg do that quite a lot as well with the Giants, and I think you could sort of present yourself as kind of that role, playing that third tall option, but can play on a backman, on a key forward. And as I've mentioned in the defensive stocks video that I put out just last week, we have a pretty versatile sort of look at the first couple of weeks of the year, and our forward line and our defence do match up okay against the tools we're coming up against. The Collingwoods, who play obviously McStay, and then obviously Myercheck as well, and then Richmond have their young tall forwards with Tom Lynch as well, and then Essendon as well. So they all sort of have an interesting mix with their forward lines, and I think one that we can be very counterproductive with as well. So I think Jeremy's role this year is predominantly going to be that ruck forward option, but with Ken's desire to utilise players in different spots, I think we might see him down back, especially with the injuries. My personal opinion on this is if you're reaching for Jeremy Finlayson to play down back, you've got issues with stocks. And I've said this, we're pretty thin down back. Another option, as I mentioned, is Xavier Walsh. But Jeremy Finlayson, outside of where he could play and the versatility that he has and everything else, there's a lot of pressure on him this year. And I know off-field issues and personal issues and reasons can affect gameplay and can affect the person that you are presented each and every single day. And I completely understand that and appreciate his situation, because it is something that not everyone goes through, and he's been a warrior in terms of fighting through all of that. But I think now with himself as a player at Port Adelaide, he's a staple, he's a senior figure. He has to really stand up again this year. He has to really bring on what's to come. We saw he got an extension last year on his contract, but I feel like now this is the year where you go, right, you've been given an opportunity. This is an opportunity. And I think for Jeremy's sake, wherever that opportunity is, down forward, in the ruck, down back, he's got to take it, because I think he's wearing thin. And I think if you look at our forward line with Georgiades Lukosius, potentially Ollie Lord in there, Todd Marshall is obviously injured, but I reckon Jeremy was probably 5th in that ranking. You know, Georgiadis, Lukosius, Marshall, and then Ollie Lord, and I think Jeremy Finlayson was last on that list in terms of ranking for what Port want to see up forward. And we've talked about Ollie Lord's big year to come. I think he's going to have a great year this year. We've talked about what else could be the possibility for our forward line as well, and Horn Francis playing a key role down there, and the Smalls with Sam Pepper coming back, and then Joe Richards, the recruit, Joe Berry as the pick 15 as our first round draft pick, and then you flow in the hundreds of other small forwards that we currently have on the list. It is crucial for Jeremy's year this year to be very, very, very consistent, and if he can do that, and we've known how he plays. He is a very effective footballer when he's on. But I think, from all of our eyes as fans, as experts and everything, and everyone inside the fours as well, I think you can clearly see that what needs to be worked on is a couple of things for Jeremy's sake. His attitude for his second, third and fourth efforts, and obviously keeping fit. If he can stay fit, stay healthy, he's going to be on the park. And I think he can be a key component to our best 23, especially with that versatility of playing down back, playing in the right, playing up forward. He'd probably be a very good sub, to be honest. You could utilise him in a certain situation. He's not bad either in the wet, so you can play him really nicely. And we've seen how effective he can be in the ruck as well. So there's opportunities, definitely. And I'm curious to see what they do with Jeremy's season to come. But for now, from what I'm hearing on the track, he has chimed in down back. So I think what Port are doing are keeping their options open, especially if there's no Asava come round one. I think you might see Finlayson playing and could be playing down back. I would love to know what everyone else thinks. I'd love to know your thoughts, because it is something that is, a concern, our back six and our backman in general. So look forward to seeing what he can do this year, Jeremy. But, he has his moments, and I think if he has more good moments than bad in 2025, we can tick him off. But for now, let's see how it progresses. We've got the trial match against the Crows on Friday in Mount Barker, match simulation this year. First game off the ranks without we haven't had an internal yet. We've had a lot of match simulation at training, but first game playing against an opposition, and obviously it's always the Crows. So I'm keen to see what structure we had, and it's something to look out for, is Jeremy's role come Friday. Well, Port fans and AFL fans, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come your way across season 2025. The season predictions are out. Make sure you check them out. The Glass Table podcast is kicking off in a couple of weeks. Pairs on a Pod is also coming back for 2025. We'll see you next week as well for a brand new episode, new year weekly content and everything of the sort. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Again, thank you so much for watching. My name's Anthony, and as always, come to pair.